Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to AiZen Tools.
Most people think the slow part of editing is the cutting. It is not. The real-time killer is everything before that. It is opening hours of raw footage, trying to remember where the good moments are, scrubbing through pauses and repeated takes. That is why AIXCUT caught my attention. It is not trying to be just another timeline editor with a few AI buttons on top. The idea here is different. AIXCUT is built to help you understand your content first, shape the story second, and make the editing part much easier after that. That is exactly the kind of workflow I wanted to test because on this channel, I make a lot of talking head videos, voiceovers, tool reviews, and knowledge style content. And if you make this kind of content, you already know the pain. You might record for 20, 30, even 60 minutes just to get a final video that is much shorter and much tighter.
Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and share in the comments which AI you want me to review after this one.
So the workflow starts with uploading your raw footage. In my case, that could be a long AiZen Tools recording, a voiceover session, or a product explanation video. Once the footage is inside AIXCUT, the AI starts analyzing what is actually in it. Not just the words, but the meaning, the topics, the stronger moments, and the useful sections. That matters because the most frustrating part of editing is often not cutting. It is searching. If you have ever gone through a long recording trying to find the exact moment where you explain something well, you already know how much time that can waste. This is where AIXCUT starts to feel practical. Instead of dragging through a timeline forever, I can guide the system more directly. I can look for the section where I explained the main value of a tool, the part where I made the strongest comparison, or the part that works best for the intro. That changes the workflow completely because now I am searching by meaning, not by memory. And that is a much better starting point for editing. The next important part is the structured script. This is probably the thing that makes AIXCUT feel most different from a normal editor. The script here is not just writing on the side, it acts like the framework of the edit. Each part of the story can have its own title, idea, expected duration, and linked footage. So instead of dumping clips into a timeline and hoping the structure becomes clear later, I can start with the structure first and let the footage connect to it. That is a big shift, especially for creators who already think in sections. For example, if I am making a review, I already know I need a strong hook, the pain point, the product walkthrough, the key features, and the final takeaway. With XCut, I can define that structure more clearly, then match the right footage to each part. That makes the process feel much more intentional. I am not just cutting clips, I am directing a story. Then comes the conversational editing part, and this is where the workflow gets even more useful. Instead of searching through menus or adjusting everything manually, I can just tell the AI what I want. I can ask it to tighten a section, improve the rhythm, shorten the overall runtime, or swap a weaker part for a stronger one. That sounds small, but in real editing, revision is where a lot of time gets lost. A first cut might be decent, but then you still need to fix pacing, trim repetition, and make the whole thing flow better. Being able to guide those changes in natural language makes the process feel lighter. Then there is the text to editing side, which is especially strong for talking head videos, interviews, tutorials, podcasts, and voiceovers. In those formats, the content lives in the words. So editing through text often makes more sense than editing through tiny slices on a timeline. AIXCUT takes that idea seriously. The footage is transcribed, the text is linked to time codes, and that means I can edit the video by editing the words. That is a big advantage for this kind of content. If I notice that one paragraph is repetitive, I can trim it from the transcript instead of scrubbing around looking for the exact cut point. If I want to remove filler, tighten a sentence, or pull one explanation into its own section, I can do that much faster from text. For knowledge content especially, that is a huge time saver because the message matters more than fancy transitions. If the wording becomes clearer, the video becomes better. So if I explain the full AIXCUT workflow simply, it goes like this. First, upload the raw footage and let the AI analyze it so you are not digging through files blindly. Second, use the structured script to build the framework of the video and connect the right footage to the right sections. Third, refine the draft through conversational editing, so pacing, clip choices, and structure become easier to control. And fourth, use text to editing to fine-tune spoken content quickly and more precisely. And that is what makes it worth paying attention to. It feels less like a traditional editor with AI added on top, and more like a system designed around how creators really turn messy raw footage into a finished video.